Insert evil Frieza laugh. So, The Acolyte has been canceled by Disney Plus after one season. You don't say. Almost as if it was a terrible show. It was a terrible show. The plot made no fucking sense. They tried to make the Jedi look like the bad people. They tried to make look like the lesbian space witches look like the good guys. Like, oh my god. Do you see what Master Squid Games did to Osha's mother? She she was going to let Osha go. She said she was going to let her go. Yeah. After her mom turned into a giant mass of darkness and tried to kill the Jedi. Only after she did that did she say, I was going to let her go. Why didn't you do that before? Why did you not say that before you turned into the mass of darkness and tried to kill the Jedi? Why do we have a scene with Osha staring at the dude's junk for 15 seconds? Why are there such low amount of actual good lightsaber battles? Like, lightsaber battles. Lightsaber. You just hear that word, lightsaber, and what's the first thing you think of? Meow, 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 choo, choo. You think of the sounds. And of course, the racists and misogynists won today, sadly. Yeah, it's not because it was bad writing. It's not because they were fucking the lore up by having characters that shouldn't even been alive at the time, or the fact that they were trying to make the Jedi look like, ooh, evil people, or, you know, anything like that. No, it's because they were racist, because the main lead was a strong black woman. Every time. Every single time. How many times have I made a video talking about this very thing? The fact of when things fail, this is what these people turn to. Calling you a phobe, ist, and ism. It's instead of accepting the reality of it, that it's a poorly written show, was poorly acted. Osha is a terrible fucking character, terrible acting. Instead of acknowledging this shit, no, it's racism and misogyny. Gave us the most exciting villain since Kylo Ren, and some of the freshest lightsaber action. Lightsaber action. Oh, deeper. Um, in ages, and they cancel it instead of maybe retooling the stuff that didn't work. Unfortunately, no lightsaber battle can outwork poor writing. Yeah, yeah. For those asking why, the Deadline article said that the viewership for the show was extremely poor. Yeah. According to Nielsen, the show tanked after the premiere and never truly recovered. Yeah. Now whether or not you really trust Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, it seems to be the most used site when it comes to ratings and stuff like that. So here's the Acolyte, 18% for audience and only 78% for critics. Well, can't imagine why they didn't get a second season. Um, of course it was low. Progressive will defend this shit like it's a hill worth dying on, but they don't consume it. Companies are starting to figure this out. Are they? Are they though? It's a Christmas miracle. It did terribly. This is a logical thing to do. It seems logical. Not a shock here. They did it to themselves. The weekly release schedule absolutely killed them. It gave everyone and their mother a chance to shit on each episode individually. And the story as a whole was meh at best. Not surprised at all. The power of many wasn't that powerful after all. The power of many. Rip Bozo. Everyone point and laugh at Amanda and Leslie. Leslie Headcase. Good. It was trash. I heard the show was terrible. Thank God, absolute joke of a series and disrespectful to the Star Wars universe. Show had so much potential. I really want that era of I mean, and that's the problem because it was an era of Star Wars that really hadn't been explored that much, if really at all. And on paper, it was like, oh, this seems like it can work. But then you could have said the same thing about The Last Jedi. You know, you see it on paper, you're like, oh, this seemed like it could work, and then look what happened. So, you know, it's like with Rings of Power. They took an era in Lord of the Rings history in the lore of the, you know, Middle Earth that hadn't really been explored, and they just adding characters that weren't really even supposed to be around at the time, just messing up the lore completely. And they're saying they're trying to stay true to Tolkien's work while messing it up at the same time. So you're taking this era in Star Wars that really hasn't been explored, and this is what they decided to do with it. finally, finally, some good news. That show was absolutely terrible. It was a really bad show. Good, the show was horrible. Star Wars fans won today. They shouldn't have made it so weird. Yeah, like, again, lesbian space witches, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many, OSHA staring at the dude's junk for 15 fucking seconds. I mean, the fact again, the her mother, instead of just saying to them, "Oh yeah, I was gonna let her go," instead turns into a massive darkness, gets stabbed, and then she says, "I was gonna let her go." Terrible fucking writing. Terrible writing. Thank God. Nature is healing. Good. The racist and misogynist won today, sadly. Huh. Is that a copy paste? Because that's exactly the same thing the other person said, like word for word. Why did they do this? Was the show bad? That bad? Yes. Disney is absolutely ridiculous for not leaning into the series and allowing it to grow, allowing it time to grow. What time to grow? They had a chance. They had a certain amount of episodes to set up this world, the lore in this world, the story that we were going to be told, and they fucked it up. They had time. They had time. You know, it wasn't like a series that had a few episodes and they were only like 20 minutes long. No, they're every show that comes out now, the episodes are like 40, 50 minutes long. They had time. And that this is what they went with. As Star Wars, yeah, I think this is the first time. Obi-Wan was Obi-Wan canceled? Well, it's will it still be canon though. Lee Jung-jae and Manny Jacinto deserved better. Fantastic actors and a terrible show. Yeah, there's only so much you can do. If you're a great actor and you're given a terrible script and all that, and it suffers from bad writing, there's only so much you can do. You know, and that's one of the things people say about Peter Capaldi's final run as the Doctor. It's like Peter Capaldi, amazing actor. He really represented and pretty much embodied everything the Doctor was. But in like the last season or so, the writing started to go downhill. He did his best to work with what he had. Him being a fantastic actor, absolutely brilliant, could only do so much with what he was given. He could only do so much. Um, so you have these great actors who, if they don't have the ability to, you know, spread their wings and to stretch, kind of thing, it's not going to be good for them. Because if they are fantastic actors, they need a medium to be a fantastic actor. good writing and storytelling. But if you're a great actor in a show or a movie or whatever, and it's the writing is shit, you're not going to be able to work at your max potential. You can blame the haters all you want. At the end of the day, it comes down to viewership. And the new audience didn't come out in big enough numbers to support the show. And whose fault is that? Online haters usually aren't big enough to sink a show. Can't wait to see all the people crying about it in comments. The show was cheeks. The show had potential, but poor acting and subpar script writing caused the cancellation. No, it was because people are racist and misogynist. That is why the show failed. Is because people just hate a female, a black female, who's strong and powerful. That's the reason why it failed. Not because of the writing or anything like that. It's because everyone's a racist and misogynist. Good. It was an awful show. I was holding out that it would get better, but it got worse with every episode. They should just cancel season 1 while they're at it. From the record, of course. They should just cancel all of Star Wars. Told y'all the shit sucked. Dreams do come true. Not only will the Acolyte not be renewed, but careers might just vanish along with it. Now, I mean, they're the people who we were talking about before are great actors, so they're not going to have a problem getting another project. It's not. This is not going to be a career killer for anyone. Hopefully, they'll just be a little wiser for the wear and just, not just sign on to something. It's like you can read the script and everything. So it would really be best for them to take a look at the script and say, let's see how the writing is. Well deserved, but it was so good. You can thank the loyal Star Wars fan base for this. Who else but Disney? I thought people said it was good, though. Oh no. Anyway, it was just terrible writing. Unfortunate for the actors. Again, the actors can only do so much. While they could be the best actor in the world, but if they have a terrible script and they have terrible lines and terrible writing, they can only do so much. Um, is anyone surprised? But yeah, again, it had such potential. It takes an era from Star Wars, from that universe that really hasn't been explored, and it's exploring it. And fans love when things do that, taking especially something like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings that has its own universe, its own lore from the beginning of time to current, people love that. And when you get to look at an era that wasn't really explored in games or comics or movies or whatever, that's a big thing for them. Again, look at Lord of the Rings, the Second Age. In Rings of Power, you're exploring the Second Age. This moment of time where so many things happen. You have amazing characters that were introduced, and yet the Rings of Power is just bad. Messes with the lore, things happen that shouldn't have happened, characters doing things that they shouldn't have done, characters being rewritten. It's just destroying it. So, well deserved. Again, this isn't going to be a career killer for anyone. They'll all be back on their feet. Next week they'll probably, oh yeah, a Star Wars Acolyte star, this got a new project. It's like, see, they're fine. But just Hollywood. Just learn to write better stories. Learn to write better. Learn to create better, more engaging characters. Learn to stick with the lore that has been established in that universe. Don't bring in characters who aren't even supposed to be born yet. You'll be fine. Just stick to the lore. If you have trouble with the lore, hire people who are actual fans of the show, because it's clear no one of the show was like an actual fan of the show, or not of show, but of the series. Hell, I remember hearing with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, they had Matt Pat as like the lore master almost. You know, if anyone on set had a question about FNAF, you know, he was there to go to because they want it to be as authentic as possible. I mean, Scott was also there. So, you know, if you want the lore, if you want the fans to be happy with the product, stop fucking with the lore. Have good writing, have good engaging characters. Simple as that. Good story, good writing, good characters, sticking to the lore and respecting it, profit. Not that hard, but that's something Hollywood still hasn't figured out yet. And instead, this stuff happens, and then everyone comes out and says, "Oh, it's the racist and misogynist who did this." No, it's Hollywood who's doing it. Learn to acknowledge that. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.